Truth be told, Mali, when women lead, economies grow, communities thrive, and businesses innovate.
Hey, all that for women. Men, anyway, welcome to our Truth Be Told podcast. My name is Malim Toto Mwanza, and today, Charlene, we are privileged, or let me say I am privileged,
Yes.
to have my boss on the show,
Yes.
an icon, a titan in this insurance business.
Yes.
Today we have the privilege of hosting one Njeri Jomo.
Yes. Welcome to the TBT podcast, Njeri. Please meet our audience.
Thank you very much, Shirley.
Yeah.
Mali, looking forward to this conversation.
Yes.
Again, my name is Njeri Jomo, but call me Njeri.
Yes.
Yes.
Girl next door, you said.
Girl next. And no
Yes.
emphasis on girl. We're not doing woman, mother. Those are yours.
Yes.
Girl.
Wait, girl next door.
Okay, let's go, girl.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what's the way to start? Okay, so I think I've looked forward to this for a while. And for me, it's to hear about your story. How did you get here? How did you get to Jubilee Insurance CEO?
Yes.
Give us a brief of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Again, my journey it's been 23 years. Might not look like it.
Yes.
That's the grace of God.
This is what we call graceful.
Yes.
Gracefully.
Like
yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fearfully and wonderfully made.
Okay.
Drop the fearful. So 23 years. I got into insurance completely by chance. An uncle of mine got me into insurance. At that time, insurance had become a bit better regulated. Agencies needed to have a certificate of proficiency or for you to be able to run business. And I was the person who went to school for him to use my certificate
Oh, wow.
Wow.
for insurance.
Yes.
And then I thought, hang on, what is this thing?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think it's not one of those things you wake up thinking, can I go and study insurance?
Yeah.
I never heard about it. I did not know about it. Ended up at College of Insurance studying COP. What people go today to school for, I think, for 2 weeks and get a
Yes,
certificate.
yes.
We would study to get distinctions for COP. It was so thorough. We'd study over 2 months.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's how I got into insurance. Got quite fascinated by the whole concept of, we talk about Pareto principle. How do you pull risk? How do you calculate these risks? And how do you quantify and say, well, based on simulations, some will get and well, some won't. And I thought indemnity, the 7 principles of insurance. And I'd be like, wow, this is a whole different world.
Wow.
So that's how I got into it.
Yes.
And really got fascinated
Yeah.
about what insurance will do. So it's been many years since. That was in 2001. That's when I got into the insurance industry.
Wow.
My first job, I was working for an insurance company where I said, look, I'll work for free. And there's many conversations we can have on that, because I'm not sure people appreciate why that's important.
Yes.
And there's many conversations I have on value, demonstrating that you're an asset. Then you're not always having to introduce yourself or demand value or tell your employer I need more pay. Your value should sort of speak for you.
Yeah.
So my first job, I said I'll work for free.
For real?
Yes.
And what role was this?
I started off as a claims assessor for general insurance.
Wow.
So I would look at the claims and I would look through those things, and I thought, okay, looks interesting. And I discovered I was quite good at noting the patterns. So take this file, go through it next, and pick the patterns. Of course, I was working so hard. By the end of that first month, they offered to pay me 300 shillings a day.
Oh, wow.
And the rest is history.
Nice.
I think I could say that.
Yes.
After that, it's been many years. I did not just work in insurance. At some point, I transitioned into asset management. So I've had, I'd call it a 5-year stint of understanding the money markets, whether it's offshore investments, equity funds, and the various investments, and then back to insurance, all sides.
Yes.
It's been interesting, and I think we'll speak about it later. I have been on the shop floor, selling insurance, talking about, sales,
Yes.
being excited about Aki Awards. I have been on that side.
Yes.
And I have been on the technical side, looking at the risk and pushing back the application form and saying, go back to the client.
Yes.
And I've been in leadership as well, but quite a wholesome journey for me over the 23 years.
Wow.
I think the bit of asset that is new for me. I didn't know that, but we've spoken at length on you being on the shop floor, being
Yes.
an insurance agent. How was that for you? What was that experience about?
So that was an interesting situation. I started off again insurance, go into asset management, and then I'm doing asset management. It's very good. You tell people, the BRIC markets, Brazil, Russia, India, China.
Hey.
These markets are 24 economies, and you're feeling
Sounds
so
intelligent.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the organization reorganizes, and there's a change in structure, and I have to go into sales. Now, if you think about how everybody who goes to school to study insurance thinks about it, once you're doing your ACII or your papers, you're never thinking about going to sell.
Yeah.
You want to do the hard stuff. You understand reinsurance,
Yes.
and restructuring, and so on.
Yes.
And I now have to go and take this product and sell.
Yeah.
And our typical mindset, it's hawking.
Yeah.
And we have all these perceptions of what that does look like. So for me, that was hard. And in hindsight, that was perhaps the best thing that happened to me. Because I see a lot of us today struggle with understanding what it is like to be on the shop floor.
Yes.
To look at that client, to convince them about the product, and to get their buy-in, and to build that relationship where they trust you. And I say today, in most cases, one of the people I respect the most is our intermediaries, our insurance agents, our brokers. Hats off to all of them, because that is such a noble job. I don't think it's regarded as highly.
Yeah.
Because that is where the conversation happens. It doesn't matter how great your products are. That's where the conversation happens.
Agreed.
And it's one of the areas in not too long ago, I've been really talking about how we should really mainstream insurance sales as a career.
Yes.
Right?
Love that.
Yeah.
It is professional.
Yes.
You are a financial services advisor.
Yes.
You're going to teach the client about financial planning wholesomely. And insurance takes care of protection, which is why they need to understand budgeting and emergency funds and how all of these things work. And how you go into protection. You buy a bigger TV,
Yes.
you buy a bigger padlock.
Yeah.
Right. That is what insurance is.
Yes.
And then all the aspects to retirement planning, and then you're doing your investments and how all of this comes into it. And the more we understand how noble this career is, the better we carry ourselves as intermediaries, right? Because you realize it's a profession. It's a profession.
Yes.
We should be able to go to school and study it. But anyway, that speaks to how passionate I am about that. So it was challenging because I had to get over myself. Charlene, I think you do sell insurance. You know what I mean by you have to get over yourself. You have to get over imagining that it's not a proper career. You have to because you really cannot sell insurance when you're struggling with a low self-esteem.
Agreed.
You will have to work on yourself, right? I remember we'd go to clients, a certain, I can't mention which organization, they chase you out and ask the askaris to get you out.
Yes,
and you have to go and sort of sit and compose yourself and say,
Go to the
I'm
next
fine.
line.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was perhaps one of the most useful experiences for me in terms of building my resilience and adaptability. And today, I understand it. I understand what it's like for that person selling.
Yes.
I can have a conversation with them. I can challenge them to do better. And I can still sit in my boardrooms and have conversations with my board members, thinking about what my shareholders and the other stakeholders do need. I can sit with my regulator and have those conversations. But I must admit, that experience about getting over myself,
Yes.
becoming adaptable and understanding how to switch hats, perhaps is my best toolkit.
And maybe you've not been told this, Njeri, really, but I must tell you, I got into insurance much later in my career, well in my 30s. So I was mature. But what actually drew me into the career was literally seeing successful female women insurance agents in this market. You look at them, you see the passion they have for what they do. You see the way they carry themselves. You know, there's a lady who to date, I still describe her as, anytime I see her, I feel like it's in Beyonce, because, straight from campus, if you had told me insurance, really? No.
Yeah.
You get. But with time, you come and realize this is a profession just like any other. Yeah. It's what you make of it. And right now, as an insurance agent, really, nobody can ever take me from this role. Yeah. I love it. Actually, with people also now starting to really respect intermediaries in the market. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And to see that journey finally culminate in the corner office.
Big
time. Amazing.
Yes.
So, Njeri, how do we change the perception we have towards insurance agents as a population? Or is it the agents to change how they approach the market?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take both. As intermediaries, we must recognize that this is a professional career and carry ourselves in a dignified way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I tell people everything communicates. I speak so often about, if you're going to choose to put on neon nail polish, do you want the client paying attention to your nails? Or attention to the conversation? And really dressing as you want to be addressed. And when you're starting out, you don't have to do it at a bank breaking level.
Yes.
There's so many tips to it. I always tell ladies, buy a black dress and 3, 4, 5 different colors of jackets. Those pearls. I don't know how much they are nowadays. Those strings of pearls. And keep that as you look, and don't wear doll shoes, right?
Yes.
But you want to be addressed that way, and because you have to carry yourself in a way that you want to be addressed, right? And the same way, on an industry perspective, we also have to begin to recognize and hold everyone accountable to a level of professionalism. And one of the things I advocate for strongly is that you should not only recognize your top sales agent or your top intermediary, also include the professionalism score.
Wow.
How was it done? Is the client feeling satisfied? Because clients begin to tell you about a lot of things. They tell you, I have 4 buildings. What should I do?
Yes.
And for you to earn that spot, it's how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to study. You're not going to wing it. You're going to read to understand how markets are behaving.
Yes.
You're going to keep yourself open to the performance of different markets and how it's impacting the economy. You cannot be a blonde when you're doing
anymore. Yes.
You will have to work on your technical competence and also work on how you look and package yourself and make it an experience to do business with you. Right?
Yes.
But on the company side, we have to train, and as I've said, we have to create a system that recognizes that these individuals are supposed to be held accountable as professionals and hold them accountable for that. It comes down to how we recruit. It comes down to how we manage. It comes down to all of those things. Just like you will demand a certain level of professionalism for certain roles, you will demand it for that individual. So it really is going to take both.
Yes.
It's going to take.
Wow. I like that. There's a technical bit. And I know in this podcast, we've really tried to make sure that we've simplified the insurance conversation and demystified a lot of the myths that are there. But we can't escape the fact that insurance is technical. There is a lot of technicalities in it. And as an intermediary, the person going out to sell, they need to have that knowledge to be able to disseminate the same in such a way that it is understandable and you sell the right product to the right client in the right way. Yeah.
But I think I'm also seeing a lot of some movement towards very needs-based sort of like selling.
Solutions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also right now, the typical agent is really working hard, on ensuring that by the time I come to propose, say, a life policy, I will have internalized the terms and conditions because I want to be at a level, I want to be able to take you through the T's and C's from end to end.
Yes.
So I think there's some good changes. You probably see it from your end also. Right now we're starting to get, those agents, you go like, okay, they're more curious, they want to learn more. So even the insurance companies are also beefing up the training,
Agreed.
So there's training in this country every single day, every morning, evening. So we're moving in the right direction.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Let's go back to you as a leader.
Yes.
Njeri. What is that one pivotal moment in your career building up to where you are now that you felt this is where it all changed? This is where it all clicked.
Well, there are many. I have already spoken to my most as I've said, going into an organization saying I'll work for free.
Yes.
I'm still yet to understand what madness that was. But when you're younger, you have some naive optimism that is beautiful, and that's why when you're young, take advantage of that. You feel like Superwoman. Right? I look back and I wonder, if I hadn't done that, would I be here today? But that was critical. But there was one other one. At one point, I did make a career move where I did not do due diligence on the organization I was going to work for. And like most people, these guys told me, oh, you're going to have this position and you have this amount of money. And like every young person, I go for it. I mean, you want a manager title. Yes. Go in. It did not take me very long to regret that decision. It was a very challenging role because the organization, I did not look at the value system. I did not look at what this organization was about and what they were trying to achieve. And over time, it made me a lot more deliberate to make sure that I identified and worked with organizations that strongly resonated with who I am and the impact I wanted to have.
Wow.
So long story short, I had to walk out in less than a year and I was jobless for a couple of months.
Yes.
But it was such a wake-up call as to what to always prioritize. And I have conversations with people all the time.
Yeah.
You always will have the allure of, oh, they'll double your salary, they'll do this. But I think it takes more. It takes a lot more.
Yes.
Look at this organization. Look at whether it aligns with where you're trying to go. What is their value system? And make sure that it aligns with yours. Otherwise, it will always feel like sandpaper. And when you are in an environment that is aligned to where you're trying to go, and you look at the big picture and you look at whether is integrity important for us? And if it is innovation important for us? Yes. Is inclusivity, are we inclusive? Or if we say we allow diverse opinions, is it on paper or is it real? Is it practice?
Yes.
If all of those things matter to you, it is important that these things are things that you check into this organization and make sure that they're as important as that paycheck. And one of the things I like to tell people, because I like to say young people, because I'm not sure I quite qualify as young anymore.
No, you Yes.
Interestingly, as long as you are taking care of the work, the technical, and making sure the foundation is right, your technical is there, your results speak for themselves. There's what you're doing, the money will come. You can't get caught up. Will they double? Will they what? Yeah. In fact, most of the time I say I don't negotiate for the money. I discuss the grid because it's about where's this job placed? What is it doing? Not, so will you increase my money by this much? I think that is the disconnect. So when you're younger, take time to build your credibility. What are you good at? When you're on that job, what does that mean for that organization? What value are you bringing? The money is an outcome of that process.
Oh, I like that. You see, when you're looking for a job, it's more of what can that company do for me?
Yes.
And so that's the money and all that and the title. But in this case, you're changing the value system to what am I bringing to this company and how are my values aligned to this organization? That's a whole different way of looking at hustling out here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think at the point of, looking for a job, you're either too, maybe, quote unquote, like desperate.
Yes.
So whatever first offer comes, you jump at it.
Yeah.
But to have that resolve that, almost like a year into it, you're like, no, this is not it. And probably you don't even have an offer on the table at that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, we've already worked for free, so.
Oh, I know, right?
No, but I tell people, I keep hearing people saying, I'm job hunting. I tell people, just go and do insurance sales.
Thank you.
It sounds, it's not cool.
Yes.
But maybe we need to drop this cool tag.
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Opportunity is where the market is underdeveloped.
Yeah.
People is talking about insurance penetration. Why are you going where it's already done?
Yeah.
Nobody is going to go above and beyond for an area that is already developed. But insurance has a long way to go.
Yeah.
And I love that, really, especially we still have very young Kenyans, who say, I'm jobless, I don't have this. Walk into the nearest insurance company, where wear a shirt, dress well.
Yes.
Go and ask, for an opportunity, because I can almost assure you, or 99%
you'll get it.
that you will be given an opportunity.
Absolutely.
And instead of just staying in the house, go learn something new. Interact with other people. Just see the world. Stop staying at home and probably, just binging on, just maybe social media and all. Walk into an insurance company, and it may just be that defining, sort of like career defining moment.
Yeah.
That's true. And the thing is this, commission, you pay yourself, right?
Yes.
And that's maybe what I find people are most afraid of. So what does that say? Because people say, it's commission, I don't want the job.
Yes.
I think you've already said enough. If it's commission, so you're saying, if it's about me putting effort and it's equivalent to my effort,
Output.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I'm not even, by the way, we're not even going beyond that. Because even if I give you a salary job, I already have a problem on my hands.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to even figure out how I get you motivated, even figure out what you want. But if you can show me that you have the ability to come and say, I'm going to try.
Yes.
I'm going to talk and ask, what is insurance? I think the starting capital is next to none.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I walk up to someone and say, good morning, how are you? My name is Njeri. I'm in the business of wealth creation and I support clients to work towards financial freedom, right? Talk time. That's all you're using. I'm not sure how much money you used during that talk time. Yes. And you presented it. And this person said, okay, can we go through it? Yes. And you earned your first 2,000 shillings and you earned your first 5,000 shillings and it got to 20,000 shillings. That says a lot. It builds such grit in you.
Yeah.
You don't know how much you will need it as you go up the ladder over time.
Yes.
And that is why I say perhaps one of those biggest defining moments. And often we say people who sell insurance understand cause and effect. And they make the most exceptional leaders because you understand, I do this, this happens. I do this, this happens.
The young girl who walked into a company and offered her services for free.
Yes.
Did she have the dream that one day she would be in a corner office?
Straight answer, no. I didn't wake up thinking I want to be CEO. I am not sure it was even there then. I always work up the next thing because for me it's really about impact and transformation. So I do this, then I'm like, okay, so what next? And it's more a discovery kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I say over time, and even today I make fun. I remember I'm CEO when people refer to me as that, and I'm like, oh yeah. That's the title, right?
Yes.
But my team will tell you, I am typically girl next door. And I think I work with Male.
Yeah.
I talk to everyone. Is it true?
Yeah.
I talk to everyone because these are titles. It's very easy to get caught up in these titles and these roles. It stops you from being personable or human because we say never let power get to your head or failure to your heart.
Oh. Never let power get to your
head or
and
failure into your heart.
Okay.
Yes. Those are two very important things.
Wow.
Yes.
Faith is such a foundational concept for me because I believe that what God gives us is an assignment. And we deliver on that assignment, parable of the talents. And what I do with the little that I have then unlocks my next assignment.
Yeah.
And therefore, these opportunities and roles you get are important. And it's if you are a good custodian of the little, then you get more, isn't it?
Yeah.
To him who much is given. Actually, it's in the word of God about to him who much is given, much is expected. But to he who has more will be added, and to him who has little, the little will be taken away. Yes. So I keep saying, understanding that when you are in this role, you are on assignment. You have a role to deliver at whatever level. Whether you're an individual contributor, your biggest role is self-leadership, which is perhaps the hardest thing to do, right? Leading self. As you lead others, then you realize you're not from the same mother and father. These guys are completely different human beings, but you're going to be trying to get them to head in a certain direction. And over time, if you're a good custodian with those things, you naturally find that you will have more and more opportunities open. Whether that is CEO for you, whether that is president of the country, whether that is Africa CEO, you find that these things, whatever you do it well, it tends to unlock. I don't think I woke up thinking I want to be CEO.
Yes.
And I by in no means think this is a destination for me.
Yes.
It is always a conversation of impact and transformation. What's the next thing that needs to be done that I can do something about?
Wow.
Talents, parable of the talents.
Yes.
There's execution is key, and always getting to do what you're supposed to do. We are in the period of goal setting, resolution, vision boarding. We talked about it here. I think one of it was to own a house for you. Okay.
I have quite a few for the year.
Yeah, so all these things we've set. What can you say about how you've changed your dreams into reality? And how do we do that?
I think we are good at talking a lot. In French, which is my mother tongue, we call them bariane geka. But those who speak French, what that means. But what it means is we have an attribute of saying, I will do, I will do, I will do. We write goals, we talk about it, and I'd see it a lot when I was doing investments. Everybody will tell you, a money market, what is that? 9%? I can get 7% per month. And then we'd say, but what if I had a piece of land? And half the time I'd ask them, do you have the piece of land? Not what if I had a piece of land? Do you have it? So we are good at talking, right?
Yes.
Execution is perhaps the biggest differentiator between a dreamer and someone who actually excels. And for me, execution is around two things: clarity, but it's also about discipline. And we have a tough relationship, all of us, with this word discipline, depending on who your parents were, right? Or depending on which school you went to. Discipline had such a negative connotation. But clarity, that you're clear. What do I want to do? And how do I want to do it? And the discipline to follow through. Now, the one most common one that most of us do every year is I want to lose weight. And I want to use that to illustrate why all the others are very easy to discuss, right? So you say, I'm going to lose weight. The first week you're at the gym. And you are all out.
And you're eating clean.
And when I talked about self-leadership, because I want to tie it to execution, is you have to demand a certain level of discipline of yourself to do what you have said you will do. I was reading this book, The Diary of a CEO, and it was talking about the power of the 10th rep.
Yes.
And I don't know whether you've come across it, where they're saying that if you don't do the 10th rep, you teach your mind that you don't finish. So every time you're about to do 9, you know the way that the trainer is not looking at you.
1.
Quickly, 9. Your subconscious learns that we don't do 10th rep. So you have already lost some level of credibility in yourself. And the thing is, the next time you're about to do hard things, your mind will remind you.
Yes. That.
Why are you trying? You normally don't do. So why are you? And it's horrible because you can't be able to follow through. So discipline is about deciding that I'm going to do this and following through even when you don't feel like it.
Yes.
Especially when I work with teams, I say we will work on the strategy, which is the what, and then we'll work on the how. And the team I work with, Male will tell you, I say the how can change as many times it needs to, but the what will not change. What remains constant, and you have to teach yourself that. Otherwise, you'll keep shifting goalposts. So if I go to my shareholders and I'm on my board and I tell them I will do X, I have no intention of shift. My mind is not even going to work on shifting X.
Yes.
But the how will change as many times as it needs to, but I'm going to deliver X. What we do is we explain how the how we had chosen did not work, and therefore the what needs to work.
Yes.
You're never going to execute for as long as you keep moving. And allow me to say this. If you think about it in life, failing is a default. Failing is the default. If you do nothing,
you'll fail.
I think it's one of the things I realized, and I said, oh my God, if you do nothing, you will fail. So success will require you to do something.
Yes.
So execution is really about clarity, holding yourself accountable to that what, being so critical to keep evaluating, is it working, is it working, is it working, and committing mentally and otherwise that you're going to do everything it takes until what you've committed is done.
Wow.
You can choose to have a disease I call excusitis.
Yes.
And some of us, we are so good.
We excel at
I couldn't do it because
yes.
You will remain at the bottom of that organization for as long as you need to be. A lot of leaders need people who can get it done. Just get it done. Don't come and write for me a thesis. I mean, you've wasted so much time explaining. How about if we use that brain power and effort to make it? So just get it done. I think it's a lot easier if you say you're going to. If you say, I'll have this report to you by 10.
Yes.
Please build a reputation where people know that when you say it,
you do
it gets done.
Because that credibility is very critical to your ability to grow, regardless of whatever field you're in.
Wow.
I think the word discipline, as we've said, it has different connotations, but it is indeed a positive thing. When you talk about the 10th rep, just the other day we were being taught in church. This is church. This is not office. Mind, body, and spirit need to be aligned. If today someone comes and tells you that I am giving you an all-paid trip, expenses paid trip to where? Santorini.
Yeah, you go back.
You will not sleep.
Yes.
The whole night you'll not sleep. You will probably wake up, and if the flight is at 3 a.m., you'll be at the airport at 9 p.m. ready for that. So that means at that point, mind, body, and spirit, everything is aligned. But when it comes to our goals, some things that we're supposed to do, then the body is saying, no, we can sleep a bit.
Yeah.
We can excuse this thing a bit. And yes, the what is there.
Yes.
But the three elements are not aligned, so they have to be aligned, and it's actually a positive thing. This is it's a self-drive conversation. It's not whip that I'm being pushed with. I'm really aligned that this is what I want to do, and if that is the goal, then we will end up doing it. Yeah.
Wow. I love your work in empowering women in insurance. And specifically, you are a co-founder of WIC, Women in Insurance Kenya. Please tell us, what is Women in Insurance Kenya, and what are you looking to achieve with that?
Thank you.
Yes.
The journey of Kenya Women in Insurance started about, 2 years ago? About 2 years ago, June 2022.
Yeah.
So before that, a couple of us sort of were asking, is there a Women in Insurance forum? Is there something we can do about this? And it was interesting, and that's why we say time and chance. A couple of us had been thinking about the same thing around the same time. So we sort of connected and said, how do we do this?
Yes.
And we formed this association, which we call Kenya Women in Insurance. And it's Queen. Because of Kenya, Women in, and then the emphasis for insurance, IN. So we are queens. And
that worked out perfectly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are 10 women who represent different facets of the insurance industry. We have underwriters, both long-term and short-term. We have intermediaries represented. We have bodies like OSI, IRA. We have reinsurers, all of that. So the 10 women represent different facets of the insurance industry. And the thinking behind this was the journey of women in insurance, and perhaps speaking for myself, it has not been an easy journey.
Yes,
it has been tough, and I know it's easy to talk about it now. People see you, then they think, well, probably just walked up there. Not quite.
Yes,
and it was a passion for all of these women, saying we needed to make it easier for the next generation of women to learn from our lessons and learn from the things we knew and our lived experiences to be able to make it through the industry. So once we thought about it, and we said we'll launch it at the AIO conference that was being held in Kenya. And during that event, we then launched it on 29th of June 2022.
Yes.
Our chief guest was the Commissioner of Insurance. And it is interesting to see that we had such strong male champions saying, we see why this makes sense, right? And we started off on a journey, and it's been absolutely phenomenal. And we say our objective is to mentor, inspire, and grow women. Women leaders, because what we do not want is tokenism. We do not want women there because it's a number.
Yes.
They're smart. They're qualified.
Yeah.
And this thing where we say insurance is boring, wherever you have women, it is not boring and it is not dull. It is actually a vibrant environment.
Yes.
But we could not see the women in insurance. And we know the insurance industry has been in a transition of sorts, right? When I was younger, everyone was gray-haired. Actually, they were gray-haired and they were male. True. 100%. Isn't it?
Yes.
So over time, it's gone changing, and you can see, but the dynamic of women in leadership wasn't a significant one. And it's been such a great journey watching us sort of have women come in. And the first event we had, which was our first gala dinner, we had over 250 women. Now, what was interesting, it was a Friday.
Yes.
It was an evening. We had room for 150 women.
Yes.
Over 250 women showed up.
Oh, wow.
Dressed to the T.
Yes.
Makeup done.
Yes.
They're saying,
They're not going home.
guys leave the office. It was Friday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had the time of our lives.
Nice.
We were saying, are there so many women in insurance? I think it was surprising for us to appreciate that they were there, and it was energetic. Over time, we've continued to grow because we speak about aspects, for example, work-life balance, navigating politics, and all of these things. We have had a talk on IFRS 17 because we are talking about doing big things and doing hard things. More recently, we've introduced a mentorship called Inuka for women aiming for executive and C-suite roles. Wow. And what we do is we pair them with leaders who are already CEOs or C-suite leaders or at director level, and they learn from each other because it's a small group mentorship.
Yes.
Plus they learn from the mentor, from their lived experiences.
Yes.
And we help them navigate their leadership journeys. So we graduated the first cohort last year. We graduated 29 women. We currently have just kicked off cohort 2. We had 36 registrations. We actually had to cut it off at some point.
Yes.
Because the demand
more mentees than maybe the mentors.
The mentors are 7 for this season.
Yes.
So we normally pair a mentor with 5 to 6 mentees. So that you learn from each other, but you also learn from the mentor. But you know what's more beautiful is it creates a small community for this leader that as she grows, she has a circle.
Yes.
And she has people she can pick up the phone and ask, how are you managing this? And it's been beautiful. So we are now in Inuka cohort 2. And more importantly, we have now begun an additional series for what we're calling Inuka Connect. So when you get off Inuka, you graduate into a Connect forum where you continue to have a working relationship with the mentors, Queen Council, and we support you through your leadership journey. So it's exciting to think about the future of the insurance industry and what that will do. So
you should see how giddy you have gotten about these women insurance.
We started the podcast by saying when women lead, economies grow, communities thrive, companies innovate. But really, this is a solution that women within the insurance industry, literally, they didn't wait for anyone else to come and bring this solution. Good job. I really love the work that you do at Queen. Wow, fantastic. So
and they're insurance guys. Kings.
No.
There you go.
And we're coming there because okay, we said for us, we must be the change we want to see. You can't keep talking about it. Do something. And I think that's what we all must choose to do.
Yeah.
We get a lot of requests more recently from the guys. And there's a conversation on, okay, fine. Can we do Inuka for the guys as well and pair them with some male mentors? I think that conversation will happen. It's really not about us, them. This is all of us.
Yeah.
And everyone has something to bring to the table. And in our conversations every year during the gala, we always have a male champion.
Yes.
Because we recognize that it is not an us versus them. No. Yes. It is making sure we enable those who don't have the same platform to get to that level and step up. If they feel they are struggling with balancing family, how did you balance having that small baby and still try to do it? They can have a conversation with someone who's done it. Can ask you, what is it like being in the C-suite? And you hear them asking, okay, how are you dealing with that boardroom with those intimidating men? Real conversations that we think will have a real impact in the future of our industry.
You've gone to the next question I wanted to ask. Balance.
Yes.
Between being a CEO, being a mother, a strategist, basically doing your everyday job and succeeding in all these aspects. How has that been for you?
Again, I go back to CEO is a title I will carry in the office. And I see it as responsibility. Responsibility for the clients who have entrusted Jubilee Health Insurance with their health insurance, but also for the over 200 staff and the families they represent. So, and the shareholders who have put in their capital in that organization, that's responsibility. That is something that you really should take care of. When I step out of the office, I am not CEO. It's interesting, the other day when I think I got some award and my mom said, Mom, why? I mean, that one of her friends asked her, is this your mom? On a photo. And she was asking, Mom, does it mean you're a big deal? And I thought it was hilarious.
Is that your answer?
Yeah. And I told her, I'm just Mom. Like, that hasn't changed. And I asked her, do you think it changed? She said, no, you're just Mom. And I said, great. So I am very anchored on family and family. And I keep saying everyone is anchored differently. My anchor is family. I thrive in the space where I'm mom. Yes. And I also thrive very much in the space where I'm a wife. I have a very supportive spouse. And those are areas that I'm really, really, really anchored. And I thrive in the spaces where I feel like I'm having an impact and I'm driving transformation. And therefore, why my job has meaning for me, because it's about human dignity. Healthcare is human dignity. It's very central to human dignity. So that makes sense for me. When I ask about success, it's because whether you like it or not, it is not going to be perfect all the time. There are times you will want to have been at that concert and you were not able to make it, and the mom guilt is real. You will feel like the most horrible mother there is. And you say, am I that kind of mother? And you don't know whether I'm a good mother or not. And there will be those trade-offs here and there. Or there will be that time I'm saying, I'm not coming in this week, I have to be here and here for family. And people are looking at you like, okay, you don't take your job seriously. It will always be those trade-offs. I think you have to be able to identify what is important to you and prioritize that. There will be trade-offs from time to time. I find that because of my schedule now, I may not have all the time to spend 2 hours over coffee talking about the weather in the world. If I have an hour, I want to go home and ask my daughter how was school. And I think it's about identifying the season that you're in and being able to adjust accordingly. So right now, in this season, I am more a wife, a mother, and I am a CEO at Jubilee. And then I will mentor. In the next season, I will be, my children probably have two teenagers who are just sliding over to adulthood. They will probably be going off to campus. I'll still have my younger one, and I will be in that season dealing with different things and over time. So it's adjusting for every season and identifying that in each season there are adjustments to be made, and making sure that you are in a place where you are fulfilled with the trade-offs you have to make.
Wow. Let's talk a little bit about your role at Jubilee. You lead one of the biggest health underwriters in the country. What are some of the biggest misconceptions you find, about health insurance? And really, Njeri, you are known where you go, innovation happens. How can we make health insurance more accessible to Kenyans?
Good question. First misconception, I don't lead one of the leading health underwriters. I lead the leading health insurer in the region.
Mama Bima, you should know this.
I know. Yes, I have a wonderful team, and they do some fantastic work. Oh my gosh, there are many misconceptions about insurance cost that insurers are trying to avoid your claims. But the one that sticks out for me the most that I really want to talk about, I tell people, if you say insurance is a scam, go and write insurance is a scam. When life happens to you, please don't call me for your harambe, because the money I make is clearly from a scam. So can we first get that out of the way?
Yes.
If it's something you don't understand, I get it. It has had its flack, and there are situations that go bad. But we don't take an entire industry and make it a fraud. Because then the planes in the air wouldn't be in the air without insurance. It all can't be a scam. But we take out insurance because life happens and there are things we won't be in control of. And the easiest way to explain it is, you buy a car, you can choose to keep it in the parking so that your beautiful red car doesn't get a scratch.
Yes.
But if you decide to put it on the road, anything
can happen.
And there are things you can control, and there are things you can't control. When I started driving, I kept getting hit until a policeman told me, you have the right of way, but it's not the right to get hit. Right? Because I kept saying it's my right and I'll get it. So there are things you can control and there are things you really have zero control over. So insurance really takes care of those things you don't have control over. And a car is an easy way of explaining it. But let's come back to your health. There are things you can do about your body. You can eat right. You can exercise. We really have no clue as to when this body becomes an emergency. We have absolutely no clue as when it becomes an emergency. And I get it. There's a lot of other priorities that we'd be taking care of. But if you're going to ever talk about financial freedom, you cannot do that without making sure you have some form of health insurance. And I want to say that it's easier said than done is when you drop in the middle of the road. And my mom used to say, when you fall on the road, your friends didn't need to know where to take you. You can just drop. I mean, life happens.
Yeah.
Something can happen, you fall, or you're going something. We don't plan on that. It's just like your car, your nice red car.
Yeah.
That happens. We need to take care of you. And unfortunately, in some instances, it's a matter of life and death. Do we really want to be discussing where the money is?
Yeah.
And it takes a bit of self-love to decide, this is one thing I'm not going to take chances with. Drop saying insurance companies are scams. Let's first look inward.
Yeah.
Are you fine? And if you can't trust the insurance company, then put the money aside.
Yes.
But do something. Because insurance is a form of risk transfer,
Yeah.
right? So if you are not taking out insurance, then you're self-insuring. So put the money aside because it will be used anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just a question
some
of when
point.
and how. The biggest one is insurance is a scam. The second one is that insurance companies are trying not to pay your claim. My goodness. On a day-to-day basis, the amount of claims we pay and are continuously paying is a constant. I think it's often the information asymmetry.
Yes.
Granted, some people have had some terrible, terrible experiences, but it should not stop you from trying. And maybe let me use a simple example. People are married. We keep hearing marriages are bad. Why are you still doing weddings? I think you have to. We can't blanket it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ask yourself, if I'm going to be wealthy and I want to buy a piece of land, I want to do this because companies do it all the time. They insure what's important. Again, I said, you buy a bigger TV, you buy a bigger padlock.
Yeah.
Because Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Once you're on food, shelter, and clothing, I'm not sure you're discussing insurance. Whether you're just at, can I eat? Can I
Basic.
dress? Can I
Survive.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And perhaps that's why we have a social layer of insurance.
Yeah.
Then you come to just slightly higher. When you can say, okay, can I change the size of my TV? Can I do this and that?
Yes.
You see, you have to ask yourself, am I taking care of me? And even if you don't do anything else, take out an inpatient. If you get a cold, I'm sure you can deal with that. You can take honey lemon, fine.
Yes.
But if you go in and you're told we can spot a small growth here, if you go in and you're told your sugars are spiking, this is a body. We are not the manufacturer. We don't have the manual. Things happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for us who are on the health insurance side, the lifestyle diseases are coming in earlier.
They can first.
Yes.
So you look at it and wonder, so it doesn't matter how much land you've bought, how much money you've invested. I'm looking at this one vehicle you're walking in here every day
Yeah.
and what it's presenting to you. So I think for all of this, take out everything you have had. Take some time to sit down with a professional and have a real conversation on what insurance is and what it isn't. It has its role. And the more sophisticated a community or a society is in terms of financial matters, the better understanding there often is for what insurance is.
Yeah.
And therefore why it is something that you want to be able to appreciate so that it helps you protect what you value and enables you to take up more opportunity for new things you want to do.
Wow. The second part of the question, how can we ensure we get to insure more Kenyans?
The question of affordability, of
Yes.
course, always the need to try and make it more affordable. And I think there's an information gap in
Yes.
terms of what it is and what it isn't. So then we enable people to get the right fit for themselves. Insurance will increasingly become more personalized. I think data is helping quite a bit. So we're able to know what fits Male, doesn't fit Charlene, and so on, and be able to make those tweaks. And that is increasingly going to help us because it's not going to be a one size fits all. So data is a critical way of being able to tailor make and make it a lot more personalized so that it's not a one size fits all. We are seeing that already with car insurance. If you don't use your car,
Yes.
you don't pay for it. And I think that's a trend that we'll continue to see. It needs to be affordable. For us at Jubilee, we've said, fine, you earn monthly, no problem. Pay for your insurance in installments. We understand. You don't have to pay an annual check for that health. So making it affordable will be a real conversation. And also the information that we understand what it is and we make sure it is used for the right reasons. I think those are three things that should make it more accessible.
Okay. Sorry. Lifestyle diseases you mentioned. We did have a conversation on how millennials are now having a lot of lifestyle diseases. What can you say about that?
Wow. I had an interesting conversation the other day when I was speaking to some cool Gen Zs. And we say, and this Gen Zs told me, Njeri, you guys say that we have an issue with mental health. You guys also had an issue. It's just that for you, your mental health translated to your body. That's why you guys are always sick. You had cancers, you had high blood pressure. And I had a moment. I said, right. Yes, we have it.
That is real.
So they're saying for us, yeah, we are manifesting it. It's here.
Yes.
That's why you're saying we have more mental, but it's always been there. It's that you were taught how to mask, how to pretend more, so you kept it in, and the body doesn't hide very well. So it's showing. But we are seeing it mostly because of lifestyle, and maybe our diet is changing quite a bit.
Yes.
You see diabetes even in the 20s and 30s.
Yes.
I mean, diabetes is one of those diseases I think we don't understand how badly it is until how bad it is. You start hearing your toe was cut off. You know, I had hard time. I'm not a medic, so this is rough to understand why. But it kills your nerves, you know, and a part of your body starts rotting. Why? Because my sugars are high.
Yeah.
I mean, I think those are things that sound very far-fetched, right? Or you go in and you're told, oh, you have a lump here. And someone was telling me recently, I don't test because I don't want to know. But it doesn't mean you don't have to deal with it anyway.
Yes.
So we are seeing the diseases more and more earlier. There's definitely a lifestyle need, and we really are pushing for at least walk 7,500 steps a day. That is WHO's recommended number of steps for you to somewhat remain healthy.
Yeah.
We are big on nutrition. And what you notice for us at Jubilee, we've moved more from discussing curative. I mean, we can pay your bills. We get it.
Yeah.
But let's move to preventative. Can you walk? Can you stay healthy? Can we stay in a managed state? And even if you get diagnosed, can we help you staying on the healthier side so that then you don't have to keep being in hospital and discussing the big bills. So I think we need to be a bit more deliberate as Kenyans. I get it. You bought a car. You like to, it's a status symbol for looking, you know, and I don't get it. You buy the car and then you pay for the gym. Man, might as well go to the time you used to walk. Probably kept you healthy. Yeah. You get money, you're always buying fast food. I mean, you might as well go to the days you are eating githeri. So lifestyle does have an impact. We see it earlier. We are very big on asking people to do their annual checks, and we work on remaining on the preventative end of the health spectrum. We'll take care of curative, but prevention is always better than cure. So can we help you stay healthy? Can we help you stay on the side where you don't have to? Because when you go on the curative side, the costs are astronomical.
10 years from now, where is insurance in Kenya? And where is Njeri?
Oh, God. Insurance in Kenya, I think, as I've said, data is a big conversation. People imagine insurance is not a digital-friendly space, but not quite. Most insurance companies have digital.
Yes.
We use AI for claims adjudication. So technology is central to us. So technology will continue to drive a lot of what we'll see with insurance in terms of processes, how solutions are delivered, dynamic pricing. We're going to get more personalized. So you'll be able to buy one that fits you. How you consume it will also probably be very driven by digital. I think those are some of the things that we'll see a lot more of. We are likely, I imagine, to see a lot more developed types of insurance. You find, for example, in the London, UK market, they can insure a dancer's feet. I'm not sure we do that here yet. I think.
Charlene, what's your asset?
Now you're making me think. And especially if you say you speak and that's your gig, and you can insure your voice. I see a lot of convergence around the customer. So I see financial services converging around the customer in terms of what they provide in their lives. So I'm not sure whether we'll still have banks separate, insurance companies separate, this and that separate. I sort of think we'll all build around the customer and everything they're doing and plug in
to that
everything we do around this customer. The legal license structures we'll have today may have to break, enabling us to provide combined solutions that fit the different client sets. So I think it's going to be interesting. For me, it definitely will be anything that focuses on two causes that are around human dignity, that is health and education. Because if you take away from a human being education and you take away from them their ability to have good health care, then you're really touching on the very aspects that speak to human dignity. And my career has incidentally always been around those things, whether it's talking about life insurance and education policies and making sure people have the right to choose where their child goes to school, or it is about healthcare, that they can choose the care, that people can visit you in hospital without not trying not to visit you because they didn't contribute, you know, the things that really make us human. And it's bound to be around around those causes. I'm also going to be very big on, I've said, next generation leaders.
Yeah.
We have to be the change we want to see. We have to continue being a positive impact to that next generation. I'm not going to be able to do what I do forever, but we can pass on what we can to the next leaders and continue passing on the chain so that we're able to have an impact, be the right influences, and inspire people in the direction that we'd want them to go into.
Wisdom. This episode, honestly, Njeri, thank you so much for honoring us with your presence and for sharing with us and our audience. I know there are many people, who'll be watching this and they are thinking, I want to connect with that titan. I just want to, if it's like on LinkedIn, I want to go and just see what has she shared today. Where can we find you?
I was half convinced it's Instagram.
Yes.
I don't do Facebook, so that's it. I'm not that old. I've tried Snapchat, can't cope. So it will be Instagram and LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is incidentally where I am spending a bit more time recently, and my newspaper is Instagram. Twitter, when I have a bit more time to feel like I want to listen to a lot more intellectual conversation. So it will be on LinkedIn. I'm Njeri Jomo on every platform, and I'm looking forward to engaging.
No TikTok.
I am on TikTok.
Oh.
I am. I'm not doing so bad. I'm just trying not to be that. My life is around here. Yeah.
Doom scroll.
Yes. So I am on TikTok. Njeri Jomo on all of them. But my professional profile will normally be LinkedIn.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you. I think if I was to summarize this episode, Charlene, self-love. And I say it because it's in every bit. If you want to succeed this year with your goals, you have to love yourself enough to do it. If you want to secure your wealth, your health, and everything that you have, self-love, insurance is important. And you have to also take care of the people around you. All that is self-love.
Yes.
I think.
I love that. I also love, the clarity, the discipline. My 2025 goals have nothing on it. I'm about to execute with that clarity and that discipline. Thank you so much, Njeri.
Good. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in today and listening to us. I think that's been our episode. It's been a lot. We probably need to have this conversation more and more. I think there's a lot to learn for myself and for our viewers. Thank you for joining us. I've been your host on the TruthBeTold podcast. My name is Malem Toto Mwanza.
And I'm Charlene Kimara. You may call me Mama Bima Kenya.
Please subscribe. And until next time, stay insured.